with Annette. I've got my apron on and I'm going to be making you a recipe out of the new book, Cooking for One or Two People. So I'm a bit fizzy about that. But last week was so much fun. I made the wicked chocolate cake, and I think there was a lot of Valentine chocolate cakes going out on Thursday. But the winners who won the book, book 2, is Vicky Beams, Anne McKay and Debbie Smith. So they're very excited about getting their own personally signed copy. And of course, I'll be giving away later. I wonder what it'll be. I don't know. Look, this has been an exciting journey for me because everybody is raving and loving this new book. And I'm so happy because for me, it was a really important book because I'm an empty nester. And I found that over the 21 years that since book 1 was released, I think there's a lot of people like me that have been following my recipes and are so grateful for a recipe for 2. So that's what we're making today. We're making the Mexican meatloaf. Who would think a meatloaf would be getting such rave reviews? It's just a good old favourite from way back. And I remember saying to Diane, I'm going to do this meatloaf. And she went, meatloaf? Yeah, always. Who's right, who's wrong? Hello, Diane. Fabulous recipe, and I've put a modern spin to it. So I'm going to make it for you today. It's out of the new book, as I said, and it's here. Oh, just look at those Thai pork balls. If you haven't made them, you have not lived. And there's the meatloaf there. So what we need for this recipe, oh my God, I'm so excited. It's such a good recipe. We need some lean beef mince, 250 grams. Now remember, this is for 2 people. So everything's much smaller in quantities. So it takes less time to prepare, less time to cook, and less cost, because otherwise you're stuck with this really great meatloaf that's this big, serves 8, and you're living off it and you just say, don't give me any more of that, I've had it for 5 nights in a row. Well, tonight's the night, cooking for 2. So you can do the beef mince, always the lean, or you could do chicken or pork, but as I said, make sure it's the lean one. We're going to chop up some onion, red and green capsicum, got some of the frozen corn kernels, tomato paste, and I always use the no added salt tomato paste, garlic, crushed garlic, an egg white, some taco seasoning, once again that's the low salt, some chili and breadcrumbs, and then afterwards when I've prepped it all I'm going to then add these. That's why I've moved them over here so I don't put them in the recipe, and it's the 30% cheese. You're going to use 15 grams or 2 tablespoons of that, freshly grated, 2 teaspoons of the tomato paste, and there is an option that you can, if you like a bit of saucy stuff, you can have the bit of salsa over the top of the meatloaf. It's up to you. So let's get started. So now, meatloaf. I do have the simple meatloaf. I think it's in book 3. Can someone check? Okay, so that's a great one as well. If you haven't tried that one, because that has got the brown rice and the veggies in it, it is fabulous. But this is it's got a different spin to it. So straight up, I've put my mince in the bowl because basically as I chop it all up, you just put it in the bowl. That's how hard it is. So let's prep. So we need only 2 tablespoons of the capsicum. So this is all we need. So I don't want to cut up too much because we don't need a lot. Now I want you to make them small diced because with a meatloaf you want it to all hold together. Oh Diane, what book is it in? Book 4. Okay, sorry, I should know my recipes, shouldn't I? So simple meatloaf book, tasty meatloaf. I can't even get the name right. Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. We want 2 tablespoons of each of the capsicum, and I want them finely diced. You don't want really big chunks because otherwise it'll just be harder to hold together. 2 tablespoons. As I say, you just put it in the bowl. Perfect. I might just chuck that little bit in. Now, same again with the red capsicum. Oh, my glove's getting in the way. Because I'm going to be mixing it up. And you know me, I really am not a fan of having to get my rings with all the meat in it, and all yucky under your nails. So look, you know, if you only have a red capsicum or a green capsicum at home, then you don't go out and buy one specifically for a different colour. I just think the Mexican, it's the red, the green, the yellow from the corn, the tomato. I think that just looks brilliant. So let's see if I've done enough here. Isn't it great to see like all you need is little bits. So, super quick, easy. All right, there's that done. Now I'm going to do the onion. Now I need a quarter of a cup. I'm sure, is it a quarter cup? Yeah, quarter cup of onion. So we're just going to go down through the layers of the onion because I want small dice. Then come back. Good sharp knife is the way to go. And just go close to when you're doing the onion, because that way then the pieces will be really small. And now because I want it fine, I'm going to go quite close to it. If I was doing a normal dice, I'd probably go further back, and if you want a chunky onion, you'd go back even further. But I'm looking at fine here. And a sharp knife will help bite away those tears. Now I just need a quarter cup, so I'm going to get a measure cup out and measure that. Oh, that's great. Easy. Might even just throw that little bit in. What the heck? All right, so there's our chopping done. So let me just move this out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to throw in the corn, an egg white, and this will hold it together really well. You don't need the yolk, so I've just saved probably 6 grams of fat, and we didn't even need it. We want 3/4 of a teaspoon of the crushed garlic. Now, if you want, you can use the fresh. I say this all the time. I just like being able to do it like that, done and dusted, garlic in. 2 teaspoons of the low salt taco seasoning. I get the Old El Paso, I find that really good. 1/4 cup of the commercial dried breadcrumbs. See how easy, we're just chucking in here. I like it. 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is where, if you've got my measure spoons, you'll be so glad, because if you put too much chili in something, it can really affect it. Now, if you want a hot one, put in 1/4 of a teaspoon and live on the edge, I say. Alrighty, so now we want a tablespoon of the no added salt tomato paste. So now we've got everything in, and now we're just going to mix it together. I've preheated my oven, 180 degrees, fan forced, and I'll cook it for 30 minutes. What a great one if you're a camper, like, a little grey nomad, or you're going out in the caravan. This would be great because this would fit nicely in those little small ovens. And if you're looking and going, Annette, I'm feeding 6, this is not going to work, then just triple the recipe. So that's the way you do it. So times by 3. So instead of 1/4 cup of onion, you do 3/4 cup. So it's not hard to convert them back up to the family size. And you might even want to make them into 3 different loaves, because that way you'll know the timing. Because if you make it into a really big loaf, just allow longer for it to cook. Now I've mixed that in really well, because we want that that egg white to really come in there and bind it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick all this together. I'm going to shape the loaf. A little bit of fun, isn't it? Okay, so what we do is you get the loaf, and I just sort of roll it around a little bit. And you want to stretch it out to about 18 centimetres, okay? And this is where I don't like to guess it, because it will affect the time cooking. So I've got my little ruler here. Okay, I've gone a little bit too far, just push that in. Oh, now I've gone too far, a bit out. That looks pretty good, yes, that's 18 centimetres. So you get your baking tray, bit of cooking spray, lift your loaf into the centre. Doesn't that look great? How good is this? Now what we're going to do is we're going to spread the tomato paste on the top. So you'll see in the recipe it says it repeats the tomato paste twice. So that goes on the top. As I said, 180 degrees in the oven, 30 minutes. Then we get the freshly grated. I really like the freshly grated because it doesn't, see how it's nice and fine and easy to work with. I find the pre-grated cheese is rather thick and clumpy and it doesn't melt as well because I think they put things in it. There's lots of talk about what they put in the grated cheeses to keep them so they don't, block up together. I mean, Google it and you'll find out some answers, which are pretty horrible. There we go. So my meatloaf is done. So let's put it in the oven. Remember, 180 degrees. 30 minutes. How hard was that? I know, stop it right now. There was really no skill involved in that one. So, let me clean up my little mess here. I am a messy cook. I know everyone tells me I am, but whatever. I love cooking and I like to get into it. I don't want to be restricted by mess. So here we have the cooked version because I thought, we can't wait for 30 minutes. So here is my cooked meatloaf. And as I said, it doesn't take long. So what I'm going to do now is I've prepped up dinner. So there's my salad and a couple of new taties. Just boiled them. And I'm going to cut this in half because remember, this is for two. And I'm a generous cook because I like you to be full. And so I'm going to guess that's halfway. Yeah? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these. I think I'll just do them in 3. Look how beautiful it holds. Isn't that fabulous? And you've got the little bits of the red and the green and the onion and the corn. And I'm saying, hello, there is dinner. How good is that? Now, just remember, if you might think, oh, I'd like some sauce with that. You could just put tomato sauce on it. But remember, you can get the chunky salsa. Whether you get that mild, medium or hot depends on how your tolerance is, but you could spoon some over there as well. I say in here half a cup of salsa, so you'd put 1/4 cup on each one. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? And yeah, I think I've created a new fad of love of meatloaf. So this is my Mexican meatloaf in the new book, Cooking for 1 or 2. So if you would like to win this book, why wouldn't you if you haven't got it? And excuse me, why haven't you been online and got it? You can still get it in newsagents, so you can go there, but it will be coming out of newsagents early March. So now's the time to be grabbing your copy. Otherwise, you can get it on our website. So this is the book you're going to be winning for this week. Now, what you have to do, of course, is you like, you share, and then in the comments, you're going to write hashtag Symply with a Y. If you do SI, I can't pick you. SYMPLY number 2. Good. Simply Too Good. Yep. Now you can also get me on Instagram at Simply Too Good, where I put lots of lovely photos on. It's a little bit more of a personal account opposed to Facebook. I'm a bit in love with Instagram at the moment. But the good news is as well, can I have a drum roll please? My new online mentoring program launched yesterday. So yes, go in, sign up, come join me for some fabulous support in your journey to being a healthy, fabulous you. I cannot wait for you to be a part of it. It's going to be fabulous. So now on next week's show, I'm sorry, but I'm still hanging on for summer. I don't know when summer finishes. Is it April? We're all looking at each other. February, is it? Well, I say let's have a longer summer because I want to make a salad for you, but it's not a normal salad. It's a potato salad. And I find with potato salad, the traditional version is just lathered with high-fat mayonnaise. My version is guilt-free, but let me tell you which one I'm making. I'm not just making an average potato salad. Oh no, people, no. We're talking book 6, the bacon, potato, and egg salad. I actually should say it around the other way. It's bacon, egg, and potato salad. That's the name of the recipe. So you say 3 things: bacon, egg, potato. Hello, you have me. So this is a phenomenal recipe. I'm going to make it next week because it's so easy, like the meatloaf, but I really want to show you how to make it, because then I think sometimes when you see it done, you go and make it. Now remember, this is out of the Cooking for 1 or 2. It's got the chicken, it's got the beef. I did the beef. Now the beef version is 9.4 grams of fat and 297 calories. The chicken is 13.6 and 317 calories. And if you wanted to do it as a pork mince, it's 9.4 and 287. Hello, there you go. You're welcome. Well, that's it for today. My gosh, doesn't it go quick? I'm looking forward to back in the kitchen with you next week. And I love reading your comments and really appreciate your support. Love you to share with your friends this show so we can keep it going and well supported by you and your fabulous people. So I will talk to you next week. Bye.